Hello, my name's Jim Rafferty. I'm an admin on the UK Here We Grow Facebook group, and we've taken the decision to promote and highlight the problems that are being faced by allotmenteers throughout the country. This is mainly to do with county councils, parish councils and allotment councils selling off land for building. Now, the idea for providing allotments came about during wartime. The UK was threatened with starvation, so allotments were an idea to get around that, where people could become self-sufficient and produce enough food for the country to live on. In that time, the vast majority of our food was imported, so it made good sense to actually have allotments in the UK for everybody to grow their own produce. Well, firstly, we're now living in times of austerity and poverty. So the benefits of having access to an allotment space are multiple. One of the main things is it makes more sense to be able to spend a few hours outdoors doing something active, which is good for your health. It also gives you the benefit of being able to grow produce where you know the source of the seeds and what's gone into the ground to produce it. Most of the stuff we buy in supermarkets and in greengrocers is imported from overseas. And the problem with that is we don't know the source of the seed, we don't know what's gone into the ground, we don't know what chemical fertilizers and pesticides have been used, whereas we have total control of it in our own allotments. Now, it does make more sense. It's especially important to involve the younger generation, particularly as child obesity is fast becoming a serious problem, and it leads often to diabetes type 2. Secondly, by growing our own organic produce, we know everything about them. The current trend of councils to sell off allotments for monetary gain at a cost to the health of residents must stop. Allotments are actually required to be provided by law, and we'll give you a link to the relevant laws of that down here. In the meantime, we want you all to sign and share the petition, which is also on a link below. The more signatories we get to this, the better chance we have of being able to lobby Parliament to put a stop to this selling off of allotment land. Now, allotment owners in Didcot are facing a threat. They're so angry and disappointed that their land can be sold off to the council, by the council, to developers. And the council has indicated it's looking at what to do for the sites in future, that says the decision would have to be approved by the government. Now, another one, former allotment site to be sold for £4 million by Leicester City Council in a housing plan. This is courtesy of Leicester Mercury. Former allotment site to be sold for £4 million by Leicester City Council in housing plan. Part of a former allotment site is being sold off for £4 million. The old St Mary Street allotment plot off Saffron Lane is now disused and has been targeted by fly tippers. Now the council is set to sell 6 acres to Development Wesley, which intends to submit plans for 122 homes covering half the site. The rest of the 15-acre site will be turned into public green space, which is not quite the same as having land to grow on. Excuse me. Now, landmark legal victory was won over redevelopment in Watford. Farm Terrace plot holders were able to quash the decision by Eric Pickles to turn their allotment site into housing and a car park. Now, the government made pledges to preserve allotments, which are for leisure and social welfare, and also for promoting health. But Eric Pickles has only rejected 2 applications to sell off allotments, which means out of all the 3,000 plots that have been facing a possible sale, only 2% of the national total have been destroyed so far. According to the official figures, with the final decision is being taken in Whitehall. Eric Pickles has rejected just 2 out of the so far 83 applications by councils to sell sites for development. Signing this petition can prevent further incursions on our allotments. Now, what you must bear in mind is also that allotments in many cases have been cultivated over several years, which means a lot of hard work and money has been put into them by the allotment holders. And when they come to designating new land for allotments, they're actually using things like old industrial sites where the ground is full of rubble and there's possible chemical contamination, which means that it's going to take years for people to be able to get any cultivated crops safely out of that land. So it's not an acceptable solution. But all is not lost, as allotment holders do actually have certain rights. Now, if you read the document that's on the link below, it will take you to a site that outlines the laws and your rights. So in the meantime, just a quick refresher, we need you to sign this petition in order that we can lobby Parliament. So please share it amongst your friends and family, and don't forget to sign it yourself. So that's from me, Jim. All the best for now. Look forward to catching you soon. Bye. Well, it's a little while since I've been down here because I've not been too brilliant, but my polytunnel is doing quite well. This is my corn. This is going home today to go in the ground, and down there we've got my beetroot, which is also doing quite well. It looks a little bit dry, but I've given everything a good soaking since I got here. And down there we've got my lettuces, and they are certainly looking the business. They're looking good. So they're going in the ground as well today. My potatoes need topping up, so I'll be going to do that in a minute. And I'm going to be sowing some seeds to replace those that I've basically had demolished by the slugs. So we'll come back to this a little bit later. I've earthed up all my sarpomyras. They're all coming along just fine. So these are the ones on the plot on my raised bed. Moving them off the raised bed shortly to make more space for some more seedlings to go in. And these are my beetroot that I've transplanted from the seed tray today. And these ones here are what's left, which I'll pop in the pot at home, and those lettuces are good to go. So they're going home with me for a nice salad. This is going to be my first actual edible crop. How about that? So I've got a salad, lovely jubbly. Now if we walk around to the polytunnel, oh, most important thing there was my cuppa. If we walk around to the polytunnel, past all these lovely raised beds, all being very productive now. It's a shame about the quality of the topsoil in here. It's got bits of glass and all stuff. But I've been sieving it as I go. This is my corn. I think it's good to go. It's time to put it back in the outside world. There might be some peas can climb up. There's a nice breeze blowing today, so that'll help to harden them off. And they are really looking good, nice and healthy. And in here, in the polytunnel, all new stuff planted, all my brassicas to replace all the stuff that got destroyed by slugs. So look there, and of course I had to do some more sunflowers. So these are not any particular type of seed, I just selected some at random to get growing. And here more brassicas, and I've got some melons in there as well, and broad beans. I was given a bunch of runner bean seeds today, which I'm going to put in root trainers and bring up here, because they'll get a better chance of growing in this tunnel than they do in my little mini greenhouse at home. But there we go, everybody's doing well in the polytunnel. Everything's growing well, and the kids, well, what can you say about those? Eh? They're tomato plants, they're strawberries, and they've got more strawberries down here, all in flower. Something's had a go at the leaves on there, a bit of rust on it by the look of it. And over here, well, what do you suppose we got here? At a guess, I would say it's a grapevine. And then more tomatoes, tiny little pots of tomatoes, but all in flower. There we go, coming along nicely. And of course they're starting to train some up the canes now as well, so they'll be up soon. A nice looks like a bean of some sort. I don't know the variety with the white flowers. And they've got little trays here with courgettes, sunflowers, and it's all down to this little school. They're doing really well. The kids are dead interested in this, and it's good that they can actually have somewhere to grow. And even got some lettuce for them there. So they're doing quite good. I'm glad to see it. And that's me signing off for today. So I'll be back down to put my runner beans in soon. Catch you later. Bye. Things are looking good in the plot at home. Potatoes coming along really well here. This is my Sapo Myra challenge. And here we've got runner beans, sorry, we'll start again. We've got spring onions, shallots and leeks. Plus we've got some lettuce, we've got mint in the tubs at the back there, we've got marigolds growing in that little tub, or little packet down there. Obviously they're carrots and they're looking quite good and healthy. They're in fact about 1 centimetre across at the top now. This one, the slugs decimated my radishes. They also took out all my Chinese cabbage, pok chow or whatever it's called. So they've made a bit of a mess of there. But I've got little spring onions coming up down here now. So things are looking a little bit better in the garden. Some sweet peas. Planted them. These are to replace the ones. Strawberries coming along. These are my later strawberries, but even these have now got flowers on them. And my early ones are over here. So if we have a look at these ones here, we've got little green strawberries growing, and every single plant on here has got fruit coming on, so they've been pollinated. Next thing, I'll give them a couple of more days to let all of them flower, and then I should cover them over to stop the birds stealing my crops. Another pot of spuds there coming along really well, and then if we come round, there's another pot of spuds here and another pot of spuds here. But we're doing really well with the potatoes this year. Got to earth these up. That will happen Tuesday when I can afford to buy some more compost, and I'll just put a bit of grass over the top of that one at the moment to help mulch it. My sweet corn from the plot is now transplanted in my garden in a raised bed. As you can see, they're looking quite healthy in there. My beans got eaten, so there's no chance of those growing, and same with some of the peas. But I've got more coming along now, and I've just planted some bean seeds directly into the soil next to these pots. They should play catch up, but these are really strong corn stems, so they'll support the beans and peas no problem at all. Over here, my black currants. Look at this. I've never grown black currants before. These are in a pot. Everything's been moved at the moment so I can get the grass mowed. Would you believe I've destroyed 2 strimmers this week? The first one fell apart. I moved all my pots just so I could do it, but the grass in there is getting beyond. And then somebody lent me a strimmer, albeit an old one, today, and that fell apart. So I've got Messrs Argos and Co on their way to deliver me a new one tonight. So hopefully I'll have that cut in the morning. And I was talking about my black currants. I've never grown raspberries before. There's the first sign of life on this one. So we've actually got raspberries coming as well. The other ones, I've just mulched them over with a bit of dry grass. There's no growth on those yet, but I shouldn't imagine they'll be far behind the other ones. Daffodils are finished. I'm just letting the leaves die back, and then I'm going to be taking the bulbs out of there and using that pot, I'm thinking, for a dwarf apple tree. So that will be perched at the end of my garden, round about here, so that when we do it, this is my little garden. And as you can see, I've kind of tried to keep the width all the way down. And my next door neighbour and I have decided that this is the boundary now. So she's going to take this part here, which I think is a bit of a cheat because it's twice as big as mine. And I keep this little bit, but there we go. That's it for now then. So everything in the garden's coming up rosy. Oh, talking of rosies, look at my little climbing rose. It's even got buds on it now. And that one over there has got buds. In fact, it's almost got flowers on it. Yeah, so we're doing well. Everything in the garden's coming up rosy. Okay, so that's it for now. Going to feed the dog. Bye.